Twitch up. Yeah.
Change the title. Oh, it's changed to Absolute Comics Live.
Oh, well, hello and welcome back to our live show here every Tuesday at twitch.com/Comicstorian, the Comicstorian podcast network, where we bring you shows on Tuesdays and Thursdays. And the internet works, the cameras are on, and Sal will be back in a minute. He had to take off. The true, proper show will start in about 10 minutes, guys. So ask your questions, hang out with us. Let's have a good time.
Hello, everybody.
Why are you being weird?
I don't know. Just making a weird face. Doing my thing. Being me.
So today we were I was getting prepped up to do, because we were filming our D&D game today for our Dungeons and Ale channel. And I had planned out, and I don't think I told you this, that I planned out to get my haircut beforehand. And my haircut guy, talkative guy, takes like an hour and a half to do a haircut.
Yeah.
So he takes forever. And I showed up late and he was still working on his last client and I had to cancel it. Because I'm like, look, I can't be here for an hour and a half after you finish with that guy. So what ended up happening was, that's why I'm in a hat today, because I didn't do anything. I didn't properly shave. I didn't, like, this is, I'm trying to grow my hair out right now because I want to shave the sides and become a Viking.
See, the secret is you get known for wearing hats. I said the secret is you get known for wearing hats like beanies. So whenever you don't want to do your hair or you're too lazy to get it cut, boom.
But here's the problem. My head is huge, and this is like the one hat that fits. So it's like I'm just gonna be PlayStation hat guy.
I mean, that's fair. I'm beanie guy. All right. We'll bring Sal.
I'm going for it, Bernadette. Natalie's like, you should shave this bottom half a little bit. And I'm like, no, it's got to go as long as it will go. As long as it will go. A video on the Ruby Rose news. Or we'll talk about it probably briefly here today.
Rose news.
Yeah, apparently she was like a nightmare on set. Like she was talking about how like horrible it was. She was like, I'm breaking the silence. I'm spilling the tea.
We'll talk about it more in length, but basically she came out and said how bad it was. Then WB came out and said how bad she was. And then everyone's like, no, WB's lying. Look what happened with Zack Snyder. And then like the production crew came out and was like, no. She was a monster.
Idea. Like, let me give you like 4 examples of how bad it was with her.
Yeah.
And like, yeah. And people are like, oh, well, okay, never mind. I guess one size does not fit all when it comes to controversy.
Yeah, I know.
You know someone's bad when people come out and they're like, no, this is the one time that the company is not the problem. Like this,
right? Like when the key grips come out of the woodwork and they're like, listen, I hate corporate America as much as the next person, but this woman really made things hard for us.
The production crew's just railing on her. It's funny because WB does have that history where you would maybe question, like, oh, well, are they just saving face right now? It'd be like if Konami came out and was like, no, we were the good guys. You're like, I don't know, man. I don't know. Did you see what happened with Deo?
Right? Yeah.
I think I need some third-party confirmation on some of this shit.
Right? I could use some first-hand accounts, please.
For those who are just joining us, this is the podcast that Sal and I do every Tuesday at twitch.tv/Comicstorian, the Comicstorian Podcast Network. You can find it on all your favorite podcast outlets. We will start the official show in 5 minutes, and we're just kind of shooting the shit, as the kids say these days.
That's right. You see, ladies and gentlemen, in order to get the high-quality podcast content you crave, you can't just jump in and be like, okay, here's the show. You got to warm up.
Yeah.
It's not just doing the throat exercises and the warm-ups, the vocal warm-ups, which we all do, of course.
Don't clip that. Don't put that anywhere.
Leave it to your imagination. But you also need to have the conversation so that you're ready you're all geared up. You're like, okay. So you don't also find out like, oh, I'm halfway through talking about, I don't know, Ruby Rose and Batwoman, and then all of a sudden I'm like, oh yeah, and by the way, like my parents are dead. You get all the personal stuff out of the way before you start the show, because you see how surprised everyone was. I mean, that's not true right now, but like one day it will be. But the point is, that would have derailed the show. Show would have been about how sad I was, not about Ruby Rose.
Those who are asking, that is our new tabletop channel. I'm floored, Sal.
Yeah.
Where is this
tabletop channel, by the way? I keep hearing so much about it.
I just linked it. We keep talking about it, but we didn't realize how much work would go into making a tabletop channel.
You didn't? You've made how many channels have you made? You made like
not a tabletop channel. I need a whole crew that can show up. I need cameras that can focus. I need a table big enough. I need to be able to look down at the pods. Yes. I got like so much shit that we didn't realize. And in the middle of it, Dan and I had the genius idea of like, well, if we're gonna do it, let's completely change the set.
Totally.
I mean, you go big or go home.
Naturally.
But we put this video out, and the only place it gets mentioned is that we'll mention it in passing, but we obviously no one has the link.
No, literally, you were talking about it like 2 or 3 days ago, and I'm like, where is this channel? Like, I want to see what my friend is doing.
So this channel came out officially. It has 2,190 subs to it already.
It's 2.2.
2.2. And the first video is at 3,600 views, and we haven't. All I did was put it out.
Yeah.
We haven't done anything. I'm so excited. Like, I have so much motivation to keep doing that series right now because it's like, holy shit, people want this.
Yeah, apparently.
It's so big, no one can go home. Yeah, pretty much.
So today, Dan had a genius idea. I'll give it this. We've been trying to, because the name of the channel was Dungeons and Ale. Because traditionally, we all drink during the games. That's always been the case. That's been a part of our thing. So we were trying to think of a fun way to kind of get across way our games are. If we want you to know the vibe. Oh, these guys are going to drink, and it's going to be goofy.
Yes.
Okay. So we wanted that to come across, and Dan had a great idea, and I got to give him credit for this. And I put it out here, but now that I said it out loud, Sal, I had a great idea because the guy at the top takes all the credit.
Yes.
We're opening every episode, teaching you how to mix the drinks we're drinking.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, so the Dungeons and Ale is actually it, and we didn't cut the stream down at all. Like the actual session is still the full hour to an hour and a half long.
Sure.
However, the cutoff point is going to be.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what we're running with right now. And like we did the first filming of that today, which is a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So we'll have that coming out of the third episode because the first two are just going to be standalone. We're just getting them going.
Yeah.
So
awesome.
Ales and Axes. Oh, that's a great one. Channel renamed.
Yep. It's early enough.
Now you need to be Ales and Axes, Sal. That's you. Okay. That's you and your crew.
Right. Same. Literally the same premise, just over there. Something.
They all drink. You've got a Diet Coke every episode. To keep the DM saying.
Yeah. Everyone still drinks, and they still make them, but there's a different emphasis. Yeah. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, actually, I don't know. Dan, you put the Miss Marvel. I didn't see Miss Marvel in the topics. Why is she?
It's literally like the first thing on there.
First one.
Oh, I skipped over that part.
It's so brief. It's just like, here's something.
It's brief, but it's also definitely could turn into a good little conversation.
Exactly. Somebody's like, can you? Yeah, that's it. Benny will do, since it's technically legal where you are, we'll take Dungeons and Ale or Ales and Axes. You'll do, what is it, like Buds and Barbarians?
Oh, that's good. I like
or that. Weed and Weapons.
I like these.
It'll
just consist of us starting a campaign and then forgetting partway through what we were doing there.
Where do we go? What?
I can definitely state, out of all the times that I've had drinks, and we did D&D, only one time that I ever actually get tipsy as DM. There's only been one time that I was like, all right, roll initiative, Dan.
Chronic and Clerics.
Okay, that was good.
Thank you.
That's Dan's channel. We have Ales and Axes on your side. Yeah. Dan has a whole second crew that gets blazed and plays.
And it's actually magic. All me. It's like those like Mrs. Doubt. Is Mrs. Doubtfire? No.
Which one?
The one where
the Nutty Professor?
Nutty Professor, that's the one I'm thinking, where he plays like all of them.
I'm like, you're thinking of somebody who's playing everybody. Okay.
Yeah.
That's the one.
I'm just going to give you guys one little spoiler for the third session. Just a quick little spoiler. It's a fun thing. There's an element within this particular session that was supposed to be maybe 10 minutes of the game time. And I made it very clear, like, what the real options were. At least I think I did.
Yeah.
No.
And they managed to spend 45 minutes trying to overthink it.
That is the nature of the game, right? It's like you say like, oh, and there's one table has like a splot of red on the top of it. Like, where did it come from? Let's investigate. I'm like, it's fantasy times. You don't have forensic evidence to support it. There's nothing you can do. I conjure a spell that finds the origin of that red spot. No, you don't. Just there's a man in a red cloak who is desperately trying to get you to go on an adventure over there. He's waving his arms and he's set the building on fire.
That's how this particular session opened up. And I don't want to spoil what happened. Because the worst part was it wasn't even the beginning of the adventure. Like I opened up the explanation and explained like a whole thing.
Yeah.
And then they were like, well, what if we just keep going that way? And I was just simply like, you can, but you remember that there's stuff over here.
Right. You can, but I will kill you. Because you are disappointing me so much. Yeah. No, I know. I ran an entire. I ran. Do you remember? You remember Firefly?
Did you get stuff on Twitch? It's not telling me. Twitch
yeah, thank you so much,
Twitch.
guys, for that level 5 hype train. We've gotten so many resubs. I'm gonna go through them right now because I want to thank you guys. Goku Madness, thank you so much for that 6-month resub. Our Song, thank you for that 15-month resub. Blue Grayson gifted out 10 subs to the community. That's awesome. Thank you so much, Grayson. Wolf Status with a 5-month resub. We got Dark Horse with a 9-month resub. We got Ghost Rider with an 8-month resub. We got Crazy Wild Chris with a 26-month resub. Damn.
Wow.
How many is that? Because I got a crack a coon for all of them.
I'm not even done. Blue Grayson with resubbing for himself for 22 months. We got Haxley with a 26-month resub. So that's a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 16.
Bards and bong
17,
rips.
There you go.
18.
Bards and bongs.
And Fear the Beard.
Weed and Wizards.
That's 17.
17.
17.
Cracking a 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 cracking Boom!
And Daleb, thank you for that sub.
Cracking a comb.
Bards and bong rips.
Where's your Shib army? I don't even know what that one is. All right, let's kick off the show. I don't want this to turn into the last time we went to YouTube with like 45 minutes past the start time.
Oh my God.
Like, we're going to start the show in a minute, guys.
Yeah, just a minute. Just another hour, and we'll be ready to start.
And I
yeah.
fade away.
Farewell.
Andy's back.
Son of a bitch.
All right. Oh, I probably should put my audio, huh?
Probably. It's getting cold. I got to pull out the flannels.
Oh, I didn't tell you. For the first time ever, we made our first scheduling mistake on Comicstorian.
What?
We apparently put out a full story that I got to give. Hold on. So Dan and I, when we're doing a full story video on the channel,
yeah,
we do a YouTube search of Comicstorian, title of video, title of superheroes to make sure if it's been done or not.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Guardians of the Galaxy apparently has been shadow banned or something because it would not come up. Weird. So we put out the video, Donny Cates' full story, Guardians of the Galaxy. Yeah. And of course, a couple of people are like, no, you guys did this one. Yeah.
Yeah.
You legit did this full story. And I thought they were talking about the individual. So I'm like, no, we do complete stories to turn it into a full story. There's always somebody's first video. Maybe they just didn't get what we do. Yeah. And that's fine. And then I did a search and they're like, no, it's number 117 in the playlist. And I'm like, damn. Damn. So I go looking it up and I'm like, holy shit, we did do this.
Yeah. That's weird.
Which is crazy because we must have done it very close to when we finished that series because it's been that
was also another like
it's been like the normal amount of time right now that we would have done it.
Right. Which is why when we didn't find it, it didn't feel weird.
Yes.
Yeah.
So.
And then of course Benny sends me the link to the thumbnail. And it's the exact same image as well as the one that I grabbed to make the new thumbnail.
That's awesome.
All right. Now you get out of here, Dan.
No, get out.
Benny, AC, suck it, Dan. There you go. Okay. 3, 2, 1. Welcome to Absolute Comics, this show right here at Comicstorian. Twitch.tv/Comicstorian, the Comicstorian podcast network, where we talk about the news and everything going on in the world of comic books, what we've been reading, what's going on. My name is Benny. That is Sal. He runs the Comic Pop channel, if you like his type of discussions and opinions and stuff like that. And we do the show every Tuesday over at Twitch and occasionally dual stream it over here on YouTube. If you want to watch past episodes, please consider going to any of your favorite podcast networks, looking up Absolute Comics, or you can go to the YouTube channel Absolute Comics, where they're uploaded 1 week after air date. This show is sponsored by G Fuel, where you can use the code COMICS and get 10% off of your order at G Fuel. Right now they got Carnage and Venom. I got Carnage all over me when we had to film that review.
I know you like the Carnage.
Yeah, I like the Carnage. Because you know why, Sal? You know why?
It's cherry.
Well, and I want the let there be carnage.
You must let there be carnage. Why wouldn't you?
Anyway, guys, yes, this show happens quite frequently, and we appreciate you all showing up and hanging out with us today. All right, so today's topics are Miss Marvel, Hulk series from Donny Cates, Year of Vengeance, which is a Ghost Rider thing, stuff about the Aquaman movie that is not going to happen ever again, talks about Eternals, review score, not going to spoil anything yet. HBO Max movie Batgirl, and Benedict Cumberbatch confirmed to be doing reshoots for Doctor Strange. Have you read any comic books you want to talk about?
No, I bought a bunch, but I haven't read them today. I'm editing so much work this week, but I did buy. Here's what I bought: Task Force Z, DC Vampires, Batman: The Long Halloween Special, Batman Detective Comics. So, like, I'm primed and ready. But I haven't read any of it yet. How about you?
I'm telling Sean we need to write up DC Vampires.
DC Vampires. DC Vampires.
I don't know. Why has that never been done before? I mean, Red Rain is one of the best books ever selling in the Elseworlds franchise. Why is DC Vampires? I have not actually read comic books. Well, I read Nailbiter. I've never read. Okay, you want to know something hilarious? So I read Nailbiter, recorded Nailbiter for the channel. It'll be coming out this week, guys.
Cool.
I read Nailbiter. It's a horror story about a serial killer.
Yes.
And as I do whenever I do indie books, I was then going to reach out to the writer to see what they would want promoted. I didn't know Joshua Williamson wrote this.
No, I'm sure he's like, knock yourself out. Who cares? That book's over. I don't know. I'm too busy. I'm neck deep in Batman right now. I don't worry about that.
So I just found it hilarious because I was like, oh, okay.
Oh, I know him. I could just call him. Yeah. It's like, yeah.
But what I have read is manga. Am I allowed to talk about manga in our Absolute Comic Show?
Why not? As
I'm co-owner, right? I can do this.
Yeah. Now it's Absolute Manga.
So I read a manga. So we're doing Comicstorian, which is a channel we've relaunched recently, but it's been a lot of old videos getting re-uploaded. When the channel gets shut down and you've saved 800 videos, I mean, you kind of start re-uploading the old stuff.
Yeah, you gotta.
Yeah. So what we've been doing is looking for series to cover, and we're covering Solo Leveling. We're doing the Honkai Impact 3 manga. We're doing the Genshin manga. We're doing Chainsaw Man.
Right.
And I was like, well, we need some good clickbait. And what's good clickbait? TNA, Sal.
Yes.
TNA.
Yes.
So I started downloading a bunch of TNA-centric manga with the goal of finding ones that have story.
Oh,
so that I'm not going to get to volume. Right. So, well, no, legitimately, because TNA manga is great for one volume.
Yeah.
You know, you're like, cool, look at half-naked girls, yay!
Right. Yeah.
But by volume 5, not so much.
And then you're like, oh, come on, give it up. High School of the Dead, and is that one of them?
No. Well, we're doing High Rise Invasion. That is on the list.
Okay.
So, but I found one, and it's actually really cool. It's called Level 1 Demon Lord and One Room Hero.
Okay.
And the cover's got the second volume's got a girl's butt just on the cover. So that's why I was like, oh, this is gonna be a great thumbnail.
Of course.
But the story, I was actually shocked, and this is actually one Dan I think would really, really enjoy. So I hope he's listening up because we have it on Comixology.
I think you had him at Butts.
I'm gonna bring Dan in for just a moment on this one. Did we have you at Butts or when I told you to look?
A little bit of both. I would say a little bit of both.
The story is, imagine your like Dragon Quest party having beat the Demon Lord at the end of the story and it's over.
Oh, it's this one.
Yeah. Okay, imagine that. But now it's 10 years later. The Demon Lord is resurrecting, and he decides that he's going to go find his old nemesis, Max, the guy that has defeated him. Okay? Right. Only to find out Max lives in a one-room apartment and is nothing but in the tabloids and doesn't do anything useful with his life.
Mm-hmm. Your great enemy became a loser. Yeah.
Yeah. So the Demon Lord decides he's going to move in and train Max to have a nice battle again.
I see. So it's Hook. Is what you're saying.
It's Hook, yeah. But it's cool because it's like all of my favorite RPGs, and like now we're meeting the rest of the party that was at the event.
Yeah.
And the Demon Lord's motives are getting a little weird on it now, because I think the Demon Lord's got a crush on Max. So because the Demon Lord is like clearly a guy at the beginning, but then turns into this really hot girl.
Mm-hmm.
Like to the point where Max is even like, I thought you were a guy, and the Demon Lord's just like, doesn't matter. And I'm just like,
he's like, nope.
You can change shape, does it?
Yeah.
So it's just a lot of fun. It's like a good comedy, but there seems to be like a nice underlying story. And that's what I've been reading recently. I read that one. I read more Chainsaw Man. And I've just been trying to find stuff from Comicstorian right now. So I've been doing a lot of that.
Cool.
Bye, Dad. You gonna read it?
Yeah, I'll read it.
Okay.
Nice. Well, that's
so
fun.
I do recommend it. I do actually.
Okay, good. All right. Yeah. All right.
Outside of that, I've read too many comics. I've got Thor 18 opened up, and I got Batman the Imposter, but I saw Batman the Imposter not get good reviews. Did you Batman the Imposter? I don't think
I didn't read it. I bought it and I haven't read it yet.
Same here, but everywhere I see it, it's like, oh, it's garbage. I'm like, what
garbage?
is it about?
Okay. All right. Yeah, I just haven't had time. I just got back from Baltimore Comic-Con. We had New York. I had a week off. Baltimore. I'm like, so I had no time to.
Yeah, when I saw you there, I was like, what the hell?
Yeah. Like, what are you doing? You're doing another con? I'm like, yeah, I like Baltimore. I'll take the 3.5-hour drive. Why not?
Did you at least stay at a hotel, or did you guys
drive? No, we stayed at the Hyatt. It was very nice.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So, all right, well, that's the stuff we've been reading recently.
Exactly.
One of the benefits of me not trying to like jump out with clickbait the moment the comics come out is I read them when I have time. I don't try to rush it out.
Exactly, and that's always good for the comic book industry. So I think you're good.
Yeah. So all right, well, let's move on to our topics then.
Yes.
We got new promotional art for Marvel's Miss Marvel show depicts a big change to the character's power, excuse me, I just went to a pizza buffet. Replacing the iconic Embiggen.
Yep.
With what appears to be a Green Lantern construct. This has been a leak for a little while that they're going to completely change her power set.
Yes.
So that it's not just Mr. Fantastic and Miss Marvel. I actually very strongly disagree with this.
Yeah, I don't know anybody who's hyped for them changing Ms. Marvel's, like the fundamental thing that makes her a superhero, and just making something up. I don't know anybody who's like, yeah, I'm okay with that. I'm sure that people who don't care or know or read it.
I like Miss Marvel the comic. I don't understand why why change the powers?
I think it's because they know they're going to do Fantastic Four and they don't want people confused.
So why not have a different superhero?
Because Ms. Marvel, though. Like, we have to make Ms. Marvel. And the other thing is, Mr. Fantastic's power / Ms. Marvel's embiggening power, it needs to look really good on screen. And if it's going to look really good, it's going to be very expensive. And it's a show as opposed to a movie. Like a movie, build into the budget. It's $200 million Ms. Marvel movie. I'm sure her embiggening powers might manifest or look better in the Marvels movie.
Right.
But, look at the shows they made. Falcon Winter Soldier. Yeah, there's a CG budget, but it's a CG budget for a guy flying. Like, it's just the same character going this way. Hawkeye, same deal. Wanda had a lot of CG, but it was all kind of like through the mask of the TV filters and magic. Like we have like nebulous red energy down pat.
Right. They just said she's chaos magic, and Doctor Strange is more tapping into the ancient magic. But why can't you just make the stretching of Mr. Fantastic and her look different?
I don't know. I mean, I think they were just. I think they probably. This is one of those cases where Hollywood just underestimated the intelligence of the audience, and they were like, they're not going to get it. They're going to be confused, or they're going to be annoyed, and she's going to be less special or Mr. Fantastic will be less special when he shows up. I think it's just that.
Nerd King 101 gave us a great super chat over here. I understand why people are upset at this case. I can see why Kamala shapeshifting into a blonde white woman and depicting it won't make her feel better. Being a relatable person of color who can struggle to fit in. I agree. I agree with them removing her turning into Miss Marvel. That I agree with.
I get why they don't want to do that, because in that case, I don't trust the audience not to get it.
Yes, exactly.
But I do think it's a very powerful moment, and I think it's necessary for the Ms. Marvel run. Like, I think that Kamala needs to be like, in order to be a superhero, I have to be blonde and white, and then learn, like, no, if I need to be I need to be myself.
I think
it's like, that's really cool.
I think the problem with that is, though, in the comics, they can do it subtly, and we get it.
Right.
But in the show, I gotta feel like they're trying to, like, I honestly, I think the reason they're not doing that, they're keeping her in a Halloween costume and not turning into it, is because they just assume the audience is dumb. With the way Twitter and everyone freak out about things, they're like, look, they won't get it.
Yeah.
So let's not start a problem. Let's just have her be. But that doesn't change the embiggening not being a part of her power set. I don't understand the removal of the embiggening.
Yeah. I honestly, I think it's just them being cautious about Mr. Fantastic. And I don't like it. I don't like her having some kind of like lame augmentation. Like, I'm not embiggening, I'm embiggening some aura or something. For my money, honestly, this is not the change that I was expecting. My change that I was expecting was that they weren't going to make her an Inhuman anymore.
Do you think they're still going to do that? Because they've kind of wiped them out of existence.
I don't think they're going to even talk about it. I think she's going to be like, I have powers. Oh, like, I don't think.
What if she says the word mutant?
Well, then probably about 25,000 heads will explode all at the same time.
Because I honestly, if they were ever going to officially move her to be a mutant and not an Inhuman, because even the comics don't do Inhumans anymore. They're gone. Yeah. When was the last time Medusa and Black Bolt showed up?
They died.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
killed them. Not them,
this would be the time to, in the comics, reveal she's actually been a mutant this whole time.
The whole time.
And the show, she drops the word. Like, they don't have the X-Men or the mutants officially, but they could say, wow, a mutation happened with my genes.
Well, or someone calls her a mutant, because like a mutant could just be used as a derogatory term for someone who's different. I mean, this can imagine someone just yelling that. Yeah.
The leak about her powers changing is accurate. What if the leak about them dropping hints at the mutants this year is also accurate?
I wouldn't put it past them.
I gotta feel, I feel I am going to be surprised if they don't use this as an opportunity to officially declare her to be a mutant.
You know, okay, so
you seem very against this.
Well, no, I saw Eternals and I can't talk about it. But like, Eternals is one of the most boring comic books Marvel's ever published.
Right.
And like, the Neil Gaiman book is good, but again, it was lost on me. The Kieran Gillen book was just as good, and again, lost on me
you
because I'm a dummy and a plebe. And but like, I find them more boring than the Inhumans, right? And I hate the Inhumans, and I have no interest in them or their powers or their kingdoms or their struggles. Like, the Inhumans are just repugnant to me. I don't have any interest in them. And Ms. Marvel wound up being kind of like the cool one. Like, she became like the Wolverine of the Inhumans.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't matter. Like, nobody cares.
Funny because they even made a Wolverine, Karnak, and tried to make him important.
Yeah. Yeah. And that didn't work out. But I will say, I liked that Eternals movie, and it does end up being like its own thing, and it made me go like, oh my God, they can pull it off. So while I don't expect them to like outright say that Kamala is going to be an Inhuman, I am kind of like, well, now that we know you can make the Eternals interesting, I guess I kind of want to see the MCU's Inhumans now.
We did. It was a show. It was terrible. But,
no. That's not the MCU's Inhumans. That's the show. That doesn't count.
That's an ABC one.
Because you've been reading all these blurbs. What's not in this list is that book, that like Marvel Studios book that came out.
I didn't even see that.
Oh my God! And they keep dropping. They so much tea. It's like friggin' it's like Boston in the 1700s. There's just so much tea being spilt.
We did get a super chat. Rumor has it they're making her powers come from a bracelet. So this viewer is thinking negabands to put her closer to Carol. That could line up for the movie if she's actually going to cross into the movie.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, they could set it up where she's just a girl from Jersey City who finds these powers that are a remnant from a cosmic source that will link her to the Marvels movie.
Yeah.
And then she'll go through Teragenesis and get like a natural version of the gauntlet or the bracelet's powers. I could see them doing that. But I have no idea. It's literally just promo art, right? We haven't even seen anything.
Yeah, well, it's lining up with a lot of the leaks that are coming out of her show.
Yeah.
It's gonna be real weird to see how they handle this whole thing. And I appreciate you not spoiling Eternals. I'm excited for Eternals.
No,
but this week I need to go see My Hero Academia, the movie. So
yes. Is that in theaters or is that just
apparently near us? So I got a weird time on a Friday morning that we're all going to go see it after lunch.
Nice. Yeah, no, I will say just in regards to movies that are being exclusively released I saw it in New York City, and it's one of those things where it's like you needed to be vaccinated, you needed to wear a mask. There was a lot of precautions taken. Now, there was an ideal circumstance. I don't advocate going to a place if it makes you uncomfortable, if you don't feel safe. So
yeah, I'm in that boat.
Of how I feel about this movie, don't see it if you're like, I'm kind of on the fence because I don't want to put myself at risk. Like, just don't. It's a movie. It'll be there. It'll be there forever now because it's out. So don't worry about it. Like you're fine. But it's pretty dope. And I saw it in IMAX and like, oh my God, it looks really good.
That made me go look for an IMAX. Dan, is there an IMAX near us? All right, that's Dan's opinion.
A lot of AMCs now have like an IMAX screen, which is just a slightly larger screen than the one at the Dolby Theater. Which just go see the Dolby Theater because the Dolby has the better sound.
Yes, no, I agree. So our next topic here is the writer of the new chat. We did it. Oh, we lost you. That's a weird face to get stuck at, Sal. I'm sorry.
What?
So Dan, how are you? Oh, Sal's back. Bye, Dan.
Yeah, sorry. Didn't you have a super chat? I'm sorry, my bad.
We did it. No, we covered it. It was the Negabands theory.
Oh, right, the Negabands. Yeah, okay. Yeah. Continue.
Writer of the new Hulk series, Donny Cates, confirmed on Twitter that Hulk will have a significantly larger threat that is teased in early issues, much like King in Black in his Venom run and Thanos in his current Thor run. So, is Donny Cates a one-hit wonder?
Yeah, apparently. A one-trick pony.
Because that's... Like, I like what he's done. I'm the guy who likes big fight sequences and over-the-top stuff. Funny story, Sal was there. I made an ass of myself to Donny Cates at the party that we got to go to at New York Comic-Con. I don't know if I told the story last time. I think I did.
Not. You did not.
So Sal, me, Dan, everyone's talking to Donny Cates, who looks like he's so done. He's burned out, doesn't want to be there. He looks super tired. And at this point, I and half the people there have had a little too much to drink. In my defense, I've had too much to drink because Sean Gordon Murphy is bringing me drinks. So you're not going to tell him no.
Everyone at that party had too much to drink.
Well, it didn't help. Sean Gordon Murphy's going around going, here's another one. Here's another one.
Yeah.
Like I hit my normal cutoff. Like, all right, so we're at a pseudo business thing. I need to be of sound mind if someone wants to approach me and discuss any projects. And well, I mean, I'm not gonna say no to Sean Gordon Murphy. But we were talking to Donny Cates, and at that point I had tipped over that line. I was like, man, I really love your Thor run. It got me really, really hooked on Thor. It's like it's like I got hooked back in with Hickman, but then your Thor run's doing great. And he just looks at me and he goes, "You mean Jason Aaron?"
Oh my God.
So
that's amazing.
That was fun.
Yeah, I will say.
And I'm just like, yeah, that's what I meant. I really love it.
Yeah. Is Heron here? No.
Is Hickman here?
Yeah.
No.
No, he's not. No.
But just the way he did it, just like straight-faced, tired as all hell, looking like he's mad at the world. And I mean, it's at this point, it's like 11:30 at night. We were supposed to be thrown out. This was late. I don't even like give him shit for being tired.
No.
It's just like, do you mean Jason Aaron? Like so offended.
He's not engaged. He's like, I don't know. And you're telling me you like my Thor run. It's amazing. I love it. I missed that. I was there when he was talking.
You were
about
like
killing...
right there, but we all had so much going on.
He was. Let me tell you something. I was there when he told his "I killed Lee Price" story, and I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. Like this dude has 0 Fs to give. How fun. Anyway, yes, that was a hell of a day.
But so anyway, he has teased. So I do like Donny Cates' crossover. I liked King in Black. I love what he did with Venom. I am a fan of his Thor run.
Yep.
But are we just doing it again with Hulk?
I gotta tell you, there's nothing about this Hulk run that excites me at all. From the look right on down to the premise that there's another big evil threat. Like, I don't know. After all the stuff with Al Ewing and the Green Door and all this stuff, like I feel like where are you gonna go from here? And it's just I don't know. There's nothing that make
Ewing's Hulk run has been incredible, Sal. It's been incredible. Right. And I do feel like Hulk just needs a breather now.
Exactly.
Let it breathe. We had a great run.
Right? Like maybe a retread, like send him back to Sakaar, or maybe like do a couple of things where it's like General Ross is back and he's in the desert. Something kind of like return to form. Like you just shook up the universe with the Hulk, and now we're gonna do another huge evil Null-esque threat. And I don't know. I mean, the fact is the industry doesn't have room for brevity or time. Like, you can't just be like, I'll get to that in a year. Like, no. Literally, no one working today who has any name cachet thinks to themselves, I'm going to take a good 3 to 6 months to really build this up. They're like, nope, got to shoot my shot now. And it's got to be the biggest shot.
It's kind of what Donny Cates has been doing, though. He basically lets you know at the beginning what to expect.
Yes.
Like with Thanos and with Null, and then takes his time to get there. Right. Instead of trying to get there and we're trying to figure out what it is midway.
Yeah.
So maybe that's what's going to happen with the Hulk. It's going to get us super hyped up, and then he can really tell a full story. Because I do feel like that's what made Venom good. At the beginning, we open up with the first arc that reveals Null is a big bad, and Null will be arriving. Yeah. And then we go on this whole journey with Eddie Brock.
Yep.
And then we get to Null. Like,
well, yeah, and even the Eddie stuff is really intimate and kind of like low stakes. Like, it's just dude connecting with his son.
Yeah.
That's all you need. Oh, also like new son. But like, but Absolute Carnage is basically just King in Black 1.0. Like, you could literally read Absolute Carnage and then King in Black back to back and miss nothing.
No, you're right. I mean, that's kind of how it was set up, though.
Right.
Like, I mean, when they got to the end of Absolute Carnage, they're like, all right, you either save your son, which will free Null, or you stop Null and kill your son. I'm like, yeah, okay.
I wonder what he's going to pick.
Yeah, you've been setting up Null for this long for Eddie to abandon his son. Yeah, I can see that happening.
You better eat this delicious cake, and you might win a free TV if you finish it, or you could eat this poop sandwich. Like, what is he going to pick? I don't know. Whatever. I don't know. The Hulk thing, there's nothing about this Hulk run that I'm like, yeah! And because Donny Cates wrote Doctor Strange, we know that he can fail because his Doctor Strange run is a big old goose egg. Like, there's nothing good about it.
I've not read it because I'm not normally a Doctor Strange guy. Like, I tried. Right. The only time I got into it, and I don't remember what it was the Death of Magic storyline. That was really good.
That was you mean Jason Aaron, Benny?
No, I didn't say Donny Cates. I said the only time I read Doctor Strange.
No, I know. I'm saying that was Jason Aaron.
I'm a fan of Jason Aaron. What can
Apparently,
I tell you?
You're a big Jason Aaron fan. No, honestly, like, it was just, if you're not a big Doctor Strange fan and you're thinking about getting into him, reading Donny Cates' run is not going to make you a fan.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, let's go to the next topic.
Yeah.
Because apparently Marvel has remembered that they have a character with a flaming skull head.
They have like 12 because thank you, Ryan Stegman, for drawing a dope image of all of them.
2022 is the year of vengeance, marking 50 years since Ghost Rider was introduced into the Marvel Universe. Not much is known about the project, but with many Ghost Riders existing in the Marvel Universe, I'm sure it's going to be big.
I love this because if we're going to rag on Jason Aaron some more, he did a huge Ghost Rider story in his Avengers run.
Yes.
And nobody cares.
Well, he did one that removed Robbie Reyes as a spirit of vengeance.
Right. Because he's not.
And no one has acknowledged it since.
Yeah. No, of course not. Well, look at his... I hate Jason Aaron's Avengers run.
I like Jason Aaron's Avengers.
There you go. It ain't what I want.
I will say this. What I like about Jason Aaron's Avengers run is probably what not a lot of people do like about it. It's so separate. I'm treating it as its own thing.
It might as well be like another universe because no one's acknowledging it.
They just referenced the Phoenix finally because they got the Phoenix book coming out.
Yes. So they have to. They literally can't not. But I listen. Ghost Rider is barely a character. He's an awesome tattoo. I love the image of Ghost Rider. You can pick your favorite. Danny, Johnny, Robbie, Vengeance, whatever. They're all the same image. It's a dude with a head on fire, riding a motorcycle, or a muscle car. If they're willing to do anything with it, I'm on board. Good.
Yeah.
Like, do something with Ghost Rider.
I've wanted a like every time they make a proper Ghost Rider book, I'm reading it the day it comes out.
Yeah.
And then they cancel it like 4 issues in.
And it doesn't help that it sucks. Like
the last one was great. The last one had Johnny Blaze come out corrupted by hell, and Danny had to catch him. And it got 3 issues in, and they canceled it. So we don't even know where it was going.
No, you do know because they made a tie-in. I think there's an Empire tie-in.
No, it's a King in Black tie-in.
King in Black, okay.
He shows up, and they literally make a comment like, well, if they're not going to let us finish, we'll finish here.
That's right. That's right. Like, we'll greenlight a Ghost Rider tie-in book for King in Black, and that's where I'll finish the story I was supposed to finish a year ago.
Yeah.
Listen, I love the idea of making Johnny Blaze King of Hell, but I hate the idea of making Danny Ketch whatever the hell they turn him into. The spirit of who gives a crap. Like, he's so lame looking. Like, the one thing Danny Ketch has going for him is that he looks awesome. Is that he's the version everyone thinks of when you think of Ghost Rider. He's got the spikes on the shoulders. He's got the big, ridiculous motorcycle with the flame wheels. And he's got the leather jacket that doesn't have like a silly circus pattern on it. He's the version. And what do? Change it to something else. Not just something else, something new. Something that nobody wants to look at. Like, the one thing that you should always agree on when you look at Ghost Rider is, it looks friggin' dope.
Yeah.
That's all you need. And when you ruin that, you have destroyed Ghost Rider.
I feel like Ghost Rider hasn't hit his the last peak he had was during World War Hulk, where he fought the Hulk and you got to see him unleashed.
Yes.
It was like, holy shit, why does he never do this?
Right. And it's just because Ghost Rider books have only sold in the 90s. Like, yes, he was created 50 years ago. But my point is, like, Ketch has like 100+ issue run. And like for no reason, because they're horrible. Yeah. All Danny Ketch does his entire run is be defeated and leave. That's his whole run. Is just, I lose, I run away, I come back, maybe I do the penance stare, and then I lose again. Like,
well, the problem is with Ghost Rider is his power levels are insane.
Right.
But they try to make him operate on like a street level.
Yeah. Well, because he's literally a street riding character. Like, his bike can go on the road. So they're like, oh, he's street level. It's like, no, he could go like any Ghost Rider could ride into whatever country or area he wants. Like, oh, there's a dictator and they're going to blow up, they're going to fire nuclear weapons. Well, if Ghost Rider rides his bike into their compound and then gives them the penance stare and the conflict is over. Oh, Galactus is coming. There's literally a cartoon that depicts Galactus being defeated by the penance stare. It is one of the coolest, raddest Ghost Rider moments, and it was invented in a bad cartoon 30 years ago. Like, he could beat anybody if he was properly motivated or used properly.
Right.
But you
well, like when he fights the Hulk.
Yeah,
where he just literally unleashes everything.
He could break the world in half.
And the Hulk is even like, holy, what did I do?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, right. Yes.
Even the Hulk was like, what the F, right?
Yeah, no,
you know,
totally.
and the only reason that conflict was resolved is he's like, petted stare. Oh, you didn't do anything that bad. I'll see you later, Banner.
I love that. See, that's clever. Like, that's smart. I love that idea. And like, if you want to do something with Ghost Rider, like, don't make him look different. Just put him in Asgard, or you know what I mean? Like, make him in love with Hela. Have Hela make her own Ghost Riders.
Yeah.
What do Asgardian Ghost Riders look like? They probably ride skeletal Pegasi. That would be friggin' awesome. Like, these are the things I want to see.
Like, you always think about the story of like the Nicolas Cage thing where he rides out to an old town and fights this one demon. He can ride into hell. That is literally the start of the last Ghost Rider storyline. Was he went into hell, and defeated Mephisto,
right?
Because he was tired of dealing with him. That was what he did. Like, that's the power levels we're talking about.
Yeah.
Mephisto, the big bad devil that Doctor Strange is like having gambling matches with.
Ugh.
Johnny Blaze rode into hell, tied him up with a chain, was like, you coming with me.
Yeah. Yeah. And drives him on the ground. Ghost Rider is cool looking, has neat powers, and could be bigger than he ever was. But this is Marvel's problem all over. Because, like, is it rad to see Ryan Stegman draw all the Ghost Riders at once? Totally. Do I want to see a friggin' book with all the Ghost Riders reminding you how not special they are. No. Do something dope and unexpected with Ghost Rider. That's it. And I promise you, people will read it. There's a Moon Knight book. People are buying it. And not just because Oscar Isaac is Moon Knight. Like, it's because it's new. Do something like that.
Yeah, I mean, the problem I feel that Marvel has with Ghost Rider is the exact same problem I feel that Marvel has with a few characters, and I like to use Punisher as an example.
Yes.
Punisher just doesn't work in the MCU style world. No. You can't have a guy that will mass murder an entire mafia and then Captain America just gives him a nod. Like, you can't have these characters.
The reality is, I mean, honestly, like, I remember Garth Ennis used to say that, you know, all the Marvel universe was created like from the boom of the bomb, right? They're all atom based. They're all nuclear based. Like, we're all kind of created around the same time. Punisher was created from Charles Bronson TV serials. Like, the Frank Castle is an invention of crappy, bad, schlocky, action oriented, bad, like, TV and movies. That is not a universe. That's Death Wish. Like, that's its own thing. That's why Punisher Max is the most successful Punisher thing ever, because he's over there, he's alone. Iron Man won't show up and hit him in the head. And don't ask me why there's a moment in Born Again for Daredevil where Daredevil is doing some dope Punisher-esque stuff, and then the Avengers show up, and it's one of the most amazing sequences in a Daredevil comic of all time. And it can only work because he's part of the universe. I don't know why that moment isn't really present in Punisher, but it is. And Ghost Rider, similar situation. Every time Ghost Rider shows up in his own book, you're like, sweet. Every time Ghost Rider shows up in a Marvel Comics event, everyone else goes, oh God, this guy.
Well, and the worst part is they have to nerf him. Because they don't want Ghost Rider to like ride in the middle of King in Black. Like, he literally was there and they didn't have him even go up against Null.
No.
Like, the King of the Void, the darkness, and Ghost Rider's like, they got that.
Right.
like, dude, you could decimate the Hulk. Why are you not even over there?
Exactly. There's a baller moment between Thor and Null. And you have to have Venom beat Null. So you can't just like have in your big Venom event Thor beat Null. But you still have Thor retain his dignity and show how awesome and powerful he is. Just throw in Stegman would have been happy to get 4 more pages where Ghost Rider shows up and opens his mouth and flaming chains blast out of his head and encircle Null. And Null's like, who's this dude? You know, like, oh, I found out that like fire doesn't hurt your symbiotes, but what about hellfire? And then Null like hits him with the Necro Sword. Who cares how he beats him? It's all made up. It's like an action figure commercial. So who cares?
He pulls Null in and he penance tears him. And in standard Ghost Rider fashion, he goes, that doesn't work on me. And he kicks him away.
Naturally, yeah. or he's like, yeah, I did all that. I don't feel bad for you.
Isn't that what happened when he tried to penance stare Carnage?
I'll bet. I don't remember.
He penance stared someone. I don't remember who he was. And the response was, am I supposed to feel bad?
It was probably Thanos.
It was somebody. He did that to somebody, and that was their response. And that's why it didn't have any effect, because he had no remorse.
That's so cool. Like that. I feel like Null would do that. I feel like Thanos would do that too. Yes. It's too bad. But like, hey, listen, they're doing this with Ghost Rider. He's celebrating an anniversary.
Right. It was Thanos.
There you go. He's gonna look cool. That's all I can ask. Just make Ghost Rider look cool. Like, remember the biggest thing for Ghost Rider anytime recently was Jason Aaron again. Avengers 10 million BC. He's riding a mastodon. People were like,
the Jason Aaron run with Robbie Ray is his little arc there. That was cool.
Yeah,
where he had to go race Johnny, and this is before Johnny got out of hell, so you started to see Johnny was having problems.
Oh, sure.
Like, that was a lot of fun.
Okay,
but yeah,
when I read the Avengers, I'm not looking for Ghost Rider.
No, and I do agree with you on that. I like reading the Avengers because it does just feel like it's separate from everything.
Totally.
But the problem I have with it is I know it's not. It's supposed to be in continuity. Just like when She-Hulk showed up in Immortal Hulk, and it's like, she's on that team, right? And she's Savage She-Hulk. Got it. Like,
right. We got to do that now.
Yeah.
Yeah. At least, hey, and this is just like a really quick side tangent, but like they are going to finally fix She-Hulk again, which is like, all right, cool. Good. Get that out of here. Let's move on. Let's make.
We have a
Jen
comment here. I want to comment on real fast. More videos like this, please. We do this every Tuesday and every Thursday at the Comicstorian Podcast Network. But there's an entire channel called Absolutely Marvel and DC where I get together with Sal, Dylan, and Dan, and we talk about all the shows and everything going on. So if you like this kind of discussion, we've been doing it for a while. So we've gotten good at just back and forth. At least I think we have.
True. I think you're gonna dig it. Yeah, check it out.
All right, next up is James Wan has confirmed that the canceled Trench spinoff movie was going to be secretly a Black Manta movie.
Maybe he probably should have said that.
Yeah, I feel like that's got to cancel it because look, I would love to see a horror movie with the Trench.
Right.
But I'm like one of probably 10 people that would love to see a horror movie with the Trench.
There were a lot of people who really boosted it. For me, I was just like, don't make a weird Trench movie starring nobody. I don't want to watch a Trench movie. Like, I like that. I like that sequence. It's one of the best sequences in the Aquaman movie is when they're on the boat. There's that gorgeous wide shot of the creatures like jumping onto the boat. And it's like really cool looking. It's just like, but what is there? Like, what is the story? I don't care. Horror is meaningless if I don't care about who is being horrored. So in this case, okay, we're going back to the Trench. Why? For what reason? Who's involved? What is going on? Not Aquaman, so it doesn't matter to me. Like, who's the protagonist? But if you tell me, oh, I'm going to do like a side Black Manta movie, or it's going to be like a Black Manta spinoff movie that will take place at the Trench, then it's like, oh, like now public opinion may be like more towards your position, because right now, or rather when everyone heard about it, all you heard was horror movie in the Trench. And it's like, that's cool, but like, how do you get Hollywood to give you $100 million to make that movie?
I love the idea that DC's just, because I've always said this since the beginning. And people are like, oh, you're wrong. I don't care. I can have an opinion and I'm allowed to do that. And I have this big channel and I can say my opinion. So
exactly. No, totally.
Marvel's villains have always sucked because they don't leave them as villains. And that's
the
my
MCU.
point.
Oh no,
not even the MCU. I'm talking comics. Like Dr. Doom is a great villain. And then he's like, by the way, I'm also kind of a good guy.
Dude,
you know what I mean?
That's just marketing. Marvel has always been like, you mean to tell me that this villain is so popular that they could sell their own book?
Loki's a great villain.
Hell,
by the way, now he's a good guy. Not like,
go back 30 years. Sabretooth. They made him a hero. He had his own book, and he was a bad guy.
They did that recently in Axis. He was a good guy in Axis.
Right. Look at
that whole event where every villain that hadn't been Carnage was a hero. Good guy.
Yeah.
In Axis. Like they love to do this. And what I've always liked about DC is they take their villains and they 99% of the time, if they get a name, leave them as villains. You might get one arc where they're forced to work with the hero, but they are still a villain. Normally they'll turn heel by the end of the story arc.
Sure.
I do want to bring up the super chat real quick.
Sure.
Imagine a storyline where Ghost Rider has to deal with a cult dedicated to the spirit of vengeance and having to deal with the repercussions. Seth Inflamed. Yes, that sounds awesome.
Love it. Yep.
But that's always been my problem with Marvel's villains, because very few of them do they keep a villain. Joker stays a villain.
Yes.
Penguin generally stays a villain. Two-Face stays a villain. I just read one of the Detective Comics storylines where Two-Face is like, "What? I'm Harvey and I'm helping, and now I'm Two-Face."
Yep.
Like, oh no, he's still a villain.
Oh no. Yeah, exactly. No, the one
Marvel even made Galactus a hero.
Yes. Even Galactus. And Galactus is a fortune of nature, but like he's eating planets. He's the antagonist of whatever story he's in. But no, Lifebringer Galactus.
Right. And that's what I'm saying. Like, and so that's one thing that DC does different from Marvel is when they have a villain, they normally leave them a villain. They still have the outliers like the Harley Quinns and stuff like that, but
they just get too popular. It makes no sense to stick to your guns when it comes to Harley Quinn. Harley Quinn was just too marketable, too much money on the table.
But even her girlfriend, Poison Ivy, is still a villain in current continuity. Like they're like, oh, Poison Ivy, come back to me. Oh, but you also want to conquer Gotham. Crap.
Right. I mean, like, Ivy's an interesting case, but I see your point, and you make a valid one. I mean, look at like Metallo or the Parasite, or Gorilla Grodd or Black Manta.
The closest that most of their villains get to being heroes is normally Suicide Squad.
Right.
And they're still villains. That's the whole catchphrase. We're villains doing, So,
yeah.
The point I'm getting at, though, is I've always leaned towards DC strong in the villain aspect. So the Joker movie was a great idea.
Yeah.
Look, I know some people don't want Joker, and I didn't want an origin to the Joker.
Me either.
But that doesn't mean making a movie about the Joker was a bad idea.
Obviously, it wasn't. It won an Academy Award. You got $1 billion. It was a great idea.
Yeah, Black Adam is getting a movie. That is traditionally a villain. He's finally been turned into an anti-hero officially.
He's on the Justice League, for God's sake.
Now, I don't doubt he's going to be a villain again soon.
I hope so. That'd be really cool.
Yeah. But and they've always leaned into this. So the idea that they could do a Black Manta movie, I would give it to them, because so far their villain movies are doing so much better than their Justice League movies.
That's true. That's true. No, I completely agree. I would have seen that, and it's a shame it won't happen, but maybe it will, because as far as we know, it was pretty much all theoretical, right? It wasn't maybe there was concept art, but it wasn't like they started filming and then the coronavirus hit and they had to delay production indefinitely, and now it's never going to happen. No, if they just go look at all the tweets, who are in favor of a Black Manta movie, just make a Black Manta movie. Go ahead and give it James Wan and make it look scary.
It's just funny because Marvel tries to turn their villains into superheroes, and DC has this thing where they try to turn their superheroes into villains.
Well, the superheroes just fight each other. Everybody just has to fight the heroes, even the heroes.
They're like, what if we do a story called Injustice? What if we do one where Batman's a vampire? What if we do this other one over here with zombies, and half the superheroes turn villains in that one?
Yeah. Yeah. That's funny.
So it's funny, but. All right, let's move on to the next one, because I could go on all day about this point that I've said 1,001 times on these channels. Early Rotten Tomatoes scores for Eternals have been released with a 71 fresh rating from 41 reviews. By comparison, Black Widow got a 79% and Shang-Chi got a 92%. This officially places it as the third lowest movie, I think.
Okay.
With the only ones under it being Thor: Dark World and Iron Man 3.
Fair enough. And well deserved.
I have not seen it, so without spoilers, do you understand this rating? Why people would not be lumping in with the other MCU
I do kind of get it. I get why. I don't get the hate, because I know that the second that I said hey, I really like this, people are like, yeah, we expected you not to like. I'm like, what? It just, I saw a lot of visceral reaction about this movie, and God only knows why. I can't really, and I'm not going to. I don't care. I'm gonna die one day. I don't have time to waste my time thinking about why people are angry about a movie that they didn't have anything to do with. But but I will say that the movie is really deliberate. It's the best looking Marvel movie I've ever seen. I without any embellishments, I can say from beginning to end, there's a little bit of dodgy CG in a post-credit scene. That's all I'll say about that. But
okay,
outside of that, it looks so good. It's well shot. The effects are really good. I thought that the Eternals, fancy, whatever you call it, filigree effect, how they get their weapons and stuff, was going to look really hokey. And I'm like, no, it's uniform, and I get it. You see Celestials and they look awesome, and it's everything about it is so explicit and deliberate and intentional, and it works. And I don't know any of these characters, so they can do whatever they want, and they borrow elements from the books you remember, like the Gaiman run, and not really the Gillen run. It came out too late, but there are elements you're like, oh, I know those characters or those beats because maybe I did some research or I watched a video about the Eternals. But for the most part, it's their own movie, and they're just doing whatever they want, and it's okay, because who cares? Who's going to argue what happens to Cersei? Nobody gives a shit. So whatever. But I thought it was just well made, and it took its time, and it wasn't trying to be anything else. It was just being this thing that we saw. And I was wow, way to go. And the fact is, it doesn't feel like a Marvel movie. It doesn't feel like Ant-Man. Ant-Man is Iron Man light. It doesn't feel like Guardians. Guardians is its own thing, and it's very deliberate. The Suicide Squad feels like Guardians because it's a James Gunn movie. This doesn't feel like any other Marvel movie, despite it having a couple of the same, not even tropes, but elements, those key things that studios are you got to put this in, you got to put this in. Zhao did such a good job of integrating it. Here's one thing that Marvel does where it's you'll notice every time when you hear about it, which is all their action sequences are made by the effects department. And so most directors don't even get to make those scenes. They're just I shoot all the scenes with humans, and then like the effects department like slaps in all the action sequences. It's never more apparent than it is in the Black Widow movie. The Black Widow movie is fraught with issues, and it looks ugly compared. But like this looked really good. Like the action sequences looked like it was directed by the director. It looked like people were in them. They told their own story. I can't say enough good things about it. I was just like, wow. But like I get why it's like the third lowest rated Marvel movie, because it don't feel like a Marvel movie. It feel
I can see that.
If you're like, like I like Marvel now. I just like to see the characters that I know come on the screen and make the quips and show me the action. I could see them being like, that was not what I wanted to see. They know. And it wasn't even like it was philosophically divergent from the Marvel formula. It wasn't like it was like, we're all gonna die and nothing matters. Like it's it's optimistic in its own way, but it's it's deliberate. And I think because it feels like its own thing that is just technically in the Marvel universe. It's like, it's by definition it's going to diverge from the cookie cutter review formula, because it's like it's going to appeal to some and not others. Like our colleague Jason Inman, he's like, I feel like we saw two totally different movies. Like I didn't like that movie at all. And I'm like, then I guess it's a real movie then, because like you hate it and I love it. Like everyone can go like, what who didn't like Iron Man? You know what I mean? Like,
right.
If you didn't like Iron Man, then you must not like chocolate, but everyone else is just like, I mean, there's something to love about Iron Man, but like not everybody likes Blade Runner.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's like, because it's a very distinct movie, and Eternals ends up being like the most distinct and deliberate Marvel movie I've ever seen. And I'm like, wow. So it's like, yeah. And I don't like that. And I'm like, right on. But that's why. I think that's why it has like the lower rate. And by the way, you'll notice it's like 71. It's not like 40.
Yeah, I like everyone's freaking out. And I'm like, 71's still good for I watch a lot of horror movies, and that's in the 20s range.
Right?
Man.
Like, did you see Malignant? Do you know how those reviews were? Like, it was like 80 to 40 or 80 to 20. Like, come on.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
All right. Well,
like,
let's move on to the next one, because
yes.
It's hard. I'm finding you're having a hard time explaining it without spoiling it. That's just kind of like,
no. Well, I hopefully I didn't give anything away.
No, you didn't. But that's what I mean. Like, it's hard for you to go into.
No, I can't get into the details. Yeah. I don't want to spoil anything for you. I will say, watch both post-credit scenes. You'll be glad you did.
Okay. HBO Max movie Batgirl, which, by the way, I'm still shocked we're getting.
I can't believe they're doing this.
Has got its latest cast member in the form of Brendan Fraser as Firefly.
This kills me only because it means that, like, I guess the Batgirl movie won't be taking place in the Doom Patrol universe.
Why not?
Because Brendan Fraser plays Robot Man. That's why not.
But it's not like he does in person.
Like, yes, he does. Well, there's sequences where he you see.
Right, but Firefly can just be in a mask the whole time.
That's true. Yeah, but you're hiring Brendan Fraser. You want to see that beautiful mummy face.
I'm just more in shock we're getting Batgirl.
Dude.
And now the villain is Firefly?
This is like one of those, you know what this is? This is the Morbius movie for me, where I'm like, they're never going to make that Morbius movie. And then like, they're like, we shot it. And I'm like, there's no way. There's no way.
Still coming out?
It should come out at the end of January, which is a great time for movies. It shows the studios a lot of faith in it.
Yeah, January 28th. I feel like they're just like, look, we paid for Jared Leto. It's got to go somewhere.
Yep. But no, Batgirl movie. I mean, good idea to put it on HBO Max as opposed to being like, we're putting this out in theaters. Good luck, Batgirl. Like Batgirl before Robin. But yeah. But still, like, okay.
Well, I mean, we got a whole TV show that's about Robin.
Yeah.
It's called Titans. You should check it out.
I would argue that like the reason why they picked Firefly is because they couldn't remember that Killer Moth was her first villain, and they were like, I think it's a bug. What's the Batman villain with the bug? And some nerd in the intern office was like, Firefly, and they're like, done. And it's like, oh, it was Killer Moth. Killer Moth. What are his powers? Well, he kills people, and he's got this kind of like purple suit, or it's green and orange. Shut up, Firefly. What does he do? He sets fires. We can do that. I know what that means. I understand that. Done. Who cares?
I sound like you were just doing a pitch meeting on the YouTube channel. They do those pitch meetings of Screen Rant.
Oh, yeah. Was that going to be really hard for him to do? No, it's going to be super easy. Barely an inconvenience.
yeah. I can tell you watch them, Sal. I
love that show. That guy is amazing.
Love your full story videos, Benny and company. Batman White Knight was my favorite video. Glad you're all still around doing this kind of stuff. We will be till they fire us.
Yay.
Thank you so much. I really do appreciate that super chat, though.
Yeah.
All right. Last topic of the day. Benedict Cumberbatch. I want to put it out here real quick. Dan writes these notes, and he wrote Cumber Patch.
Benedict Cabbage Patch.
Benedict Cabbage Patch has confirmed that Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness will be reshooting some scenes in November, December with planned release in May. This raises concerns about the multiverse saga as Spider-Man No Way Home is also doing some reshooting. Hopefully it'll all turn out well, and I won't add more delays in upcoming Absolute Comics news topics.
Thank you.
And I read that earlier, and I know Dan, he likes to put little funny notes, and I know he was hoping I was going to read that topic. Yeah. Are you happy, Dan?
I am.
All right.
Yeah. So, all right, Benny, what do you think about this? Do you think this is indicative of some greater, grander thing, or do you think this is just like, I mean, Hollywood just knows that it's digital. We shoot on digital. We can literally be shooting post-credit scenes until like the week before the movie comes out. Who cares?
I don't think it actually means very much at all, in all honesty. I think because there's no way that they've now rewritten scenes in both of these movies.
No.
Because what has happened that would require them to?
Right.
Like, that's what I mean. Like everyone's like, oh my God, it means they're including this and that and the other thing. And these movies, Fox deal was done like 2-3 years ago now.
Right. And the Sony deal was set up. Like the only thing about the only thing that might indicate there might be something is because of the recent, like, and but when I say recent, like 2 years ago now, maybe a year and a half ago, Sony and Marvel making up. And
but they wouldn't be doing the reshoots now.
No.
That's what I guarantee this is simply normal reshoots.
Yeah.
Now they just need to go knock out.
I will say, after seeing Venom 2, Let There Be Carnage, and its post-credit scene, I was convinced that they gauged the response to that post-credit scene and then shot a new post-credit scene featuring Venom for No Way Home.
I could see that because there is that footage of Tom Hardy being on the set with the hat.
Yeah.
But even that though, the movie's so close to coming out.
Yeah, but we know that, like, I mean, the shawarma scene in Avengers was shot what? Like the night before the red carpet premiere for Avengers?
Yeah.
So, I mean, like, we know they'll cut it down to the wire. I mean, we know the Venom 2 post-credit scene was down to the wire. Like, it was a week before it was released. So, like, I could see them doing Easter eggs, tidbits, bonus scenes, maybe even like, oh, we just inked this new deal. Let's cement it with this scene kind of thing. But I don't think it's indicative of like a troubled production or like or a whole like initiative shift for Marvel. Like, I think it's just like, we need more pickups, or we need this to the effects team needs a different angle or something.
That's all I really think it is. I don't think there's anything to this. I think it's just okay. Because you always hear about reshoots all the time.
You know, and like every time, because like pundits like us love to go like, oh, there's reshoots. You know what that means? And then like the movie comes out and then suddenly nobody's talking about those reshoots because it didn't do anything.
Yeah, they literally just reshot a scene. Like,
yeah, and we don't even know what they were, right? Like we never even like are able to go, you could, unless it's fan forced, in which case you're like, you could literally cut out all the reshoot scenes and make your own movie with them.
You really could. For those who don't know, Fan Four-Stick is literally at the halfway marker where they started up they had the new director. They just time jump, like, new movie.
Yep. New movie, totally different movie, and it's not very good.
That was so bad.
That was so bad. So
the first half of that movie was great, and then they did the time jump, and you're just like, oh, why did they put that wig on her?
Oh, man, I didn't enjoy like almost any of Fan Four-Stick, but I will say that like you said, the first half, at least they're doing something. It's something.
Yeah, they were going somewhere. I was on board at the first half.
Yeah, I was not on board, but I was still like, oh, they're making a movie. Wow, they're making some bold choices.
You know what Fan Four-Stick was? The first half of the movie was like me going, Sal, I am going to bring you to Disneyland. I'm flying you to LA. Okay. We are driving to Disneyland.
Can't wait. I'm looking forward to it.
Right. And halfway through the trip, I go, I don't want to keep going. We're going to Universal Studios.
No, Fan Four-Stick is, I'm taking you to Six Flags.
I have rerouted your plane from LA. We are going to Texas.
Yep.
Six Flags.
We're going to Six Flags. Oh, that is not what you promised me.
I would not have left for Six Flags in Texas.
That's literally it. There's one 2 hours away from my house. I don't need to go to Texas to go to Six Flags. You promised me Disney World. No. That is Disneyland. I'm sorry. But yeah.
Now I'm just picturing you like throwing a fit at the airport. No.
Oh, I just feel like, whoop. Then just get back on the plane. Well, that was a waste of 3 hours. Off I go. What's the in-flight movie? Fanforstic? Sweet. Action Park. Someone in the comments said more like Action Park. First of all, eat me. Because Action Park rocks. It's in my backyard, and I grew up there. So you could.
Didn't they shut that down because it's too dangerous?
Yeah, multiple times. Excuse me, but like they changed the name to Mountain Creek, and I had a blast many summers, and then returned to Action Park. You could splash, dip, dive.
I've seen that movie,
whatever.
Johnny Knoxville movie.
Yeah,
that Action Park.
yeah. It's only a little bit exaggerated.
Only?
Yeah, only a little bit, but still.
Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed today's episode of Absolute Comics, a podcast show that Sal and I bring every Tuesday at twitch.tv/Comicstorian, and we occasionally dual stream it over here. Maybe we'll do it more often. I'm kind of digging having so many more viewers over here.
I kind of like having a larger audience for the show.
Yeah, we have a much larger audience over here, Sal. I don't know what's going on.
I don't know. Might have something to do with the 2 million subscribers you have.
We'll be back next Tuesday with more, and we might dual stream the Thursday podcast in which Dan and I are going to talk about what the MCU does that a DCEU doesn't do, and why the MCU can succeed and DCEU will never.
Oh my
God. It will never succeed. It will never. And if you want to know why, find out on Thursday. We'll also be doing our Dungeons & Dragons game, Red Hood and Arsenal, on Thursday. You'll continue to see the adventures. They are being dropped into the Soviet jungles.
Ooh.
Sal. Soviet jungles. Yes.
I didn't know that the Soviet Union had jungles.
It does. I had a debate with Andy about this. And part of the reason it's a Soviet jungle is because of our debate. We were debating. We were talking about Metal Gear Solid 3. And he's like, no, it's in Vietnam. And I said, no, I'm pretty sure it's in the Soviet jungles. And he's like, those aren't a thing. Oh, shit. That's a thing. Right. Siberian tiger. Like,
what? Wow, I didn't put that together. That's amazing.
So anyway, yes, if you want to get more of this podcast, go to your favorite podcast network. You go to Spotify, Apple, all that stuff, and look up Absolute Comics. Give us a review. We'd really appreciate it. If you want to watch it here on YouTube, these episodes are uploaded a week later to the Absolute Comics channel, where we also put up comic book reviews and a couple other side shows that don't have true homes. Why have I never put 3 beers at a topic there? Dan, I know how we can bring back 3 beers at a topic.
Put it on that channel.
We'll just put it on that channel.
Okay,
cool. And if you want to catch more Sal, you liked his opinions, go check him out at Comic Pop. They do discussion shows on a regular basis. He has Comic Pop and Comic Pop Returns. Right. And just to add more stuff to the list here of sponsorships, because we're sponsoring a lot of our own projects, Sal and I also run a channel called Absolutely Marvel and DC. The link to that is down below with the Comic Pop link, where you can go and see us discuss TV shows, rumors, movies. We do a lot more in depth over there, including even trailer reviews, which a lot of people seem to enjoy. And lastly, I just launched it. We just launched it. I'm not going to go deep into these. Dungeons & Ale, if you want to see me and my team do tabletop games on the regular, Dungeons & Ale is a channel, and Comicstorian is back. Thank you so much, and thank you to our sponsor, G Fuel, for sponsoring today's episode. And that's it. Recording over.
Somebody asked in the chat if we see these comments. Yeah, we do.
Yeah.
I see you.
And for those who are saying that this felt short, it was the usual 1 hour time frame.
This is actually what it's supposed to be. It's actually kind of a remarkable, because I remember when we were like doing the pre-show, you were like, let's just go. Let's start. Let's just start the show. We don't want to get caught up. And then it just flowed. This is I was actually like, when we were hitting like the third topic, I'm like, I think we're actually going to be on time.
Yeah. No, the show is supposed to be 1 hour from 5 to 6 p.m. Eastern. We're just terrible at keeping to that.
Yeah, no, we're just really bad at it. But which is great for you guys because you get extra show. But like, still,
I guess that's why I fell short. It was the normal amount of time.
Yeah.
It also doesn't help. I think it was last week. The show was like 2.5 hours long.
I think so.
Because we did like almost an hour pre-show, and then we stuck around afterwards because it was our first time on YouTube.
Yeah. Of course.
But yeah, guys, if you enjoyed this, let us know. Let us know in the comments there. We do read the comments. Thank you so much, Adam, for another super chat. Oh, Benny, I just remembered there is a bot running around with your name and trying to get me to call them. What?
You gotta call them on what? A phone?
One of my friends hit me up today. His account's hacked.
Oh.
And he's just like, hey, me and my friend made this Discord application with an auto installer. Can you install it and tell me how it runs?
Oh,
and I'm like,
wow.
This doesn't sound like you. And he goes, and he comes back and he's like, yeah, so could you help me? That was broken English, man. And you live like down the street.
Yeah.
Yeah, can you help me? And I didn't do it and I wanted to, but I was going to be like, what game did we play last week?
Right.
But I just left it alone. I'm like, I'm just gonna. It's obviously a bot.
Obviously, you're a bot.
Because my friend knows grammar.
Yeah. But I want to see what the bot's answer is to that.
Yeah,
that's funny.
So, why isn't Andy ever in absolutely Marvel and DC? Wasn't interested in it. The team gets extra paychecks for being on extra projects. It's just like little bumps in their paychecks.
Yeah.
Andy just wasn't interested. He's working on a lot of behind the scenes things with me that you may see, you might not, but it's a lot more passion oriented for him. So
cool.
Plus, absolutely Marvel and DC, we kind of do more on the fly. We film it every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, but sometimes even off days. And Andy just likes having his other times.
Yeah. Hey, did you know that Guardians of the Galaxy game actually dropped today?
Yeah, I got to download it. I got to go play 2 hours of it so I can do a review on absolutely PlayStation and Steam Gamers. So remember my goal this year was 5 new channels, Sal.
Yes.
Absolutely Marvel and DC. Absolutely PlayStation and Steam Gamers. Dungeons and Ale. Comicstorian. I have one more.
One more to go. Do you have one already? Like, is it
we
planned?
haven't launched it. We have it planned. It's our last one to try and get out by this year, and I'm going to miss the original deadline of October.
Okay.
It's okay. So I'm going to tell you this, and I think I've told you this, but I'm going to tell the chat here. This is the official reveal of what the last I've been hyping up 5 channels all year.
Yeah.
This is the last one. I have almost hit my goal of 5 new channels in a year.
Oh,
and for the record, so far 3 of the 4 of them are working very well.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's not bad.
So the last channel is I am creating a multimedia project, and I already have licensing and stuff in place, so I can say all this and not worry about it.
Okay, good.
We are creating a multimedia project around the concept of the horror town I created, Silverton.
Yes.
And the idea is we are going to be, this channel is going to, if we can do it at the schedule, and we're trying to see if we can do it right now. It's all going on behind the scenes. Oh, Roy, your account's been hacked. It's him. It's him. It's Roy.
It's Roy.
Roy, go to your Discord. You've been hacked. I was trying to hit you up and your bot hit me. Damn. You were the story. You were the one else telling the story about my friend who got hacked. I don't have any other way to get a hold of him. So anyway, back to what I was saying. Okay.
Yes. Love it.
Oh, do we have another Roy now? All the Roys are coming out of the
was like me?
Not you, Roy Dela Cruz. Roy Averas.
Another Roy.
Other Roy. Too many Roys now. So anyway, so we're launching Silverton. What a way to find out. So the new idea is Silverton is going to get its own channel because there's a reason behind this. So I've been trying to get published works in anything for a while. And here's the catch-22. And Sal could vouch on this.
Yep.
They don't want you to write comics until you've written something else, be it a novel, a comic, anything.
Yep.
But you can't write anything until you have a way to publish it.
That's right.
So you're in a catch-22 of you need to have previous works, but no one will give you the ability to do the works until you have previous works. It's the whole thing of like entry-level job that needs 4 years experience.
Exactly.
It's that loop, and it's so annoying.
Yeah.
So what I decided to do is I'm taking Silverton, and Andy and I are coming. Not giving spoilers, just telling you the idea. That's all I'm telling you. Okay.
Yeah.
We're taking there's going to be a 2 to 6 page comic strip that we have artists working on right now. And we're going to tell a story running through Silverton. And the character is going to meet other characters. And then Andy and I are writing up short stories that I'm going to narrate over ambient music and ambient situations. And if we get this to work right, every week to 2 weeks, you will get a Silverton comic and a Silverton short story related to the town. And we're going to build this entire universe out of predetermined works to prove a resume. And my end goal is to build up such an audience that we can kickstart that collection as a book. And then I will kickstart my Silverton creation and book. And that is how I'm going to get it off the ground. And people have always been like, Benny, why don't you just go kickstart a comic book? The reason is really simple. I want to make sure I have something worth kickstarting. I don't want to just come out the gate and go, everyone, please go to my Kickstarter and fund it.
Yeah.
One of two things is going to happen, or one of three things. One, it's going to be underfunded, and that's going to make me look like a joke.
Right.
And I don't want that. There's always that deep-seated fear of like, oh, when I finally do this new thing, no one's interested.
Right. Yeah.
As a content creator, that is always something you panic about. Mm-hmm. What if this is all in my head?
Right.
The second thing that's going to happen, the second thing that's either going to happen if I go off and make my own project is I'm going to fail hardcore, not in the funding, but making the book.
Yes.
Because what I have been trying to do is get into the comic book industry to get practice. I'll take any character, write anything, promote it on my channel, and hire editors and do all that stuff myself. But until you're doing it, I can't get more practice because there's no one reading it to tell me if it sucks or not.
Exactly.
So I need practice. So I could just make a comic that's terrible. And then all of you do fund it and it's terrible. And no one will fund my actual project I want funded.
Yeah. You have to want to make whatever you're funding right now.
Yes. So, or the third thing is just going to bomb entirely. And it's terrible. It bombed. Nothing came out of it. And it was just a waste of my time.
Right. Well, and it just breaks your spirit. And you never want to do
that. So this is, I think, a fun way to do it. And that is the fifth project that I've kept. This is the first actual reveal publicly of what it is. And the only reason I'm revealing it is we were trying to get it up by Halloween. We're not going to make the deadline.
No.
It's going to probably be very close to the end of the year by the time this gets rolling forward properly. Mm-hmm. So, no, there is a D&D Silverton coming out on Thursday, Snow on the Throne. I have the new setting, the new campaign for the new Silverton D&D. It will come out and it will be uploaded to Dungeons & Ale following the session.
Exactly.
It's a murder mystery this week.
Oh.
So. The Bloodshot thing does count, but they want more than one backup and one book that was poorly edited.
Yeah.
Is it going to be on Substack? And now I'm announcing my Substack launch.
Yep. And we don't need... Yeah. We don't need a support anymore because it's
the idea for those who are wondering, because every year, so for those who don't know, Comicstorian gets boring. And I don't mean that in like, oh, I hate my job. I love my job. But day in, day out, I read a comic and then dramatically read it, guys. That's what I do, okay?
Yeah.
I need a creative outlet. So it's normally something like D&D or I do something else. But every year I try to see if I can make a new channel. Comicstorian was a success. Tales of Earth was getting there until it got shadow banned. We did a list channel that was working out very well.
Yeah.
That got removed because I gave it away and then the guy let it die. So we've always had something we're doing on the side. Podcast Network was what, 2 years ago, 3 years ago? So
I think so. At least.
So, I thought it was going to be Chatistorian. Now where do I go when I much needed advice about relationships and effective onomatopoeia usage?
I'm sorry, I have to jump in real quick. How can you not say documentary, but you can say onomatopoeia very well?
Documentary. God damn it!
No, almost.
Yeah, Tales of Earth. Guys, the reason Tales of Earth doesn't come back is it was shadow banned.
Yeah.
Like we couldn't get funding for it at that point because it was just not doing it.
Yeah.
If you're shadow banned on YouTube, it doesn't exist.
Right.
Do we draw comics or paint? I actually am trying to get back into sketching. I was an art student way early in the day.
Yeah.
So I'm just rambling at this point. If you just want to close out, I mean, you seem busy.
No. I'm just making sure that I'm good. Sorry.
But what I was saying is, ever since we started 2014, I think I kicked off the first idea of like I need another creative outlet every year. because otherwise I'm going to do what a lot of YouTubers do and ruin my main channel by changing it way too much. And you guys have seen some of that stuff, like Comics Tonight, the podcast stuff we've done. We've always kind of created some new ideas and fucked around. But what's it called? But every year we did that. And so 2020, I decided to do nothing because it was COVID. And honestly, I thought I was just going to retire.
Yeah.
I was like, I think we're just going to close that and call it a day. And I'm going to move on to another job. Like go launch this project out of YouTube, nothing creative, and go do this.
Right.
And it was 2021 that I was like, that was boring.
Yep.
How many can I make?
How about instead of nothing, I do all of it?
I will say there's no new projects planned for 2022.
That's probably for the best.
Why doesn't Rob join anymore? It was just a differing opinion of where to take the podcast. We had me, Sal, and him all had a different opinion. That's all it was. Yep. Still talk to him once in a while, but he's got so much focus on other things. I haven't even heard from him in a couple of months.
No, he's busy, I guess.
I don't even know. I don't even know what he does.
Idea.
He doesn't talk to me.
Nope.
What's the process for comic making? Luna, when I finally get into comics, I'll let you know. Still working that. Working that. What's my scheduling like? I'm a madman. I actually had to talk to somebody about that yesterday. She was like, no one works like you do. I'm like, well, the end of the day, my philosophy is work. I started 18-hour days, but now I'm down to 12-hour days.
Nice.
Work like crazy until I'm like 40, and then if I can retire, go for it. That's my end goal. So
not a bad move.
That's why I never stop. So you work as much as I do every day.
I do. Yeah. Well, probably not. No, I mean, I spend a lot of time working though.
I mean, every time I hit you up, you're working.
That's true. I am busy. Well, because I'm editing. Like I shoot it, I edit it. Like I make I have people on my channel who are awesome, and they show up and we film, and then that's it. And then they go home, and then I'm like, all right, now I have to work on this.
What's it, Tevi? I think it works for both of us. He wants to know if I think a Comicstorian to be obsolete or a comp. I think I'm going to go obsolete before you do, because yours is discussion host based.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I could go obsolete if they just do some big changes, and that's the end of Comicstorian.
That's true. Yeah, no, YouTube just has to screw it up again.
So, how much time do you spend editing?
It really depends. Sometimes I like to space things out, like because back issues is like an hour, like 2 hours long. When I get the raw files, and then I got to watch the whole show, but I have to interrupt it. So it's like every interruption, like every time I have to stop and cut or add an image, it's like 2-3 minutes. So it's like, let's say that there's 100 cuts. That's 100 times 2 to 4, so it's like 8 to 10 hours.
Yeah. That's why I don't do editing anymore.
Yeah, exactly. No, but the thing is, you'll reach out to editors of people who are like, I do that. I'm like, oh yeah, how much? And they're like, about $100 an hour. I'm like, go away.
Roy says, like, every time I hit you up, you're working. I know, and sometimes I feel like people are going to look at me working and be like, oh, you're just ignoring me, but I'm not. I literally work from 7 a.m. And bear in mind, this work does have like an hour workout in the middle. I have working out in my work schedule, but I start at 7 a.m. and I'm not done until 6 to 7 p.m.
Yeah.
And there's 30 minutes for eating in the middle of that somewhere. And then there's an hour.
Yeah.
Right. And then there's an hour of working out somewhere in there. And bear in mind, I'm a very ADD person. So when working, there might be a schedule here that I'm working on. There might be payroll on this screen I'm working on. I might be going over the schedule with these guys, what they need to work on, scripts, things like that. At the same time, I'm bothering Dan, asking him like the same questions 9,000 times.
Yeah.
I'm normally working on like 4 projects at the same time.
Yeah.
It's just the way my ADD brain works.
True. But it works well for you. That's the way to go.
Are we going to review Young Justice? Yeah, we're going to film that on Friday because I needed a couple more days, Tyler, to watch it. Will Sal have a one shot in my Silverton channel? Hell yeah. Why wouldn't Sal?
Right? I would like to pass that on to Tiffany because I think she's the horror girl. But either way, one of us, Comic Pop, will have hopefully we'll have some kind of influence on Silverton. I'd like to.
I watch a lot of those mystery kind of channels where they just do these ARG style things.
Yes.
And I've always wanted to make one, like something that feels like you're a part of it and you can know what's going on and piecing all of this together and it's all super planned out and we're going to see.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's true.
Oh yeah. Sal, I haven't asked you, are we going to do Lock and Key season 2? Did you watch season 1?
No.
Oh, well,
I saw the first episode.
Dan, are you watching Lock and Key? He's shaking his head. No one even pulling.
Yeah, no, I literally saw the first episode. I'm like, that's cool, and I've never seen any more.
A Silverton Harbor Patrol crossover,
dude. Silverton isn't. Yeah, I guess it is. Is it an RPG for you?
It's everything. We've turned it. It's
that's
now
right.
Comics, short stories, a D&D campaign setting.
Yeah.
We're looking at the Webtoons potential angle. We're looking at a Twitter ARG storyline angle. We're literally looking at every angle to see what can work.
Well, you gotta, right? Because we and Harbor Patrol is superhero based. I don't know if it would blend the styles, but
it'd be a bit weird, but we can make it.
yeah, but we could do it.
Any new videos on Catwoman? I mean, that last run wasn't good. That's why I haven't heard much on Catwoman.
Right? Maybe that Lonely City book. Who knows?
Maybe. The new one looks interesting.
Yeah. I have a couple of Catwoman books I'd like to do.
I mean, Catwoman's got some good stuff.
I
feel like really... Catwoman's one of those characters that works well when you just have an idea, you do the idea, and you end it.
Yeah. No, I'd love to do. There's an old Catwoman book I'd like to do, and then there's the Catwoman Vampirella crossover that I'd like to do one day.
I want to do more Red Sonja books, but apparently
it's tough, man. I did Archie. I did Afterlife with Archie, and
I saw your tweet.
It was the worst performing video. I'm like, are you kidding me? You've never heard of this? You don't care? They're like, it's not friggin' Batman. Click.
I got a video I know is going to tank this week, but I'm doing it because I want to. Nailbiter.
Nice. Yes,
I know it's not going to do well. No,
it's not. Watch it. It's just not. I'm sorry. Like, and you know it. Like, you know it as well as I do. I was like, there's like a 50-50 shot. Like, I was thinking about doing for years. I've thought about doing Scooby Apocalypse because I'm like, you never know.
That does amazing, and I don't know why.
Yeah. Well, so I'm like, I know. I'll be the one to put the final nail in the coffin for it because one day we'll do it and it'll be like 12,000 views, and I'm like, cool. But I thought maybe Afterlife with Archie might have some kind of following. People are like, no. Resoundingly no. I'm like,
yeah, Afterlife with Archie, like I've seen Turtles can do well. Turtles Rangers can do well.
Yes.
And I'm talking like the non-DC Marvel stuff.
Right.
Scooby Apocalypse did really well for some reason. That one that was doing okay. Can you think of any other indies, Dan, that have done very well for us?
I can't.
Did you do Radiant Black?
You did Avatar. Avatar did good.
Oh yeah, we did Avatar. Well, when we first started it, it did well, and then people started being like, "Okay, I found out where Zuko's mother was. I'm just gonna go other places."
That's the only one we're ever gonna. If we ever do Avatar, it's gonna be the one where they find Zuko's mom. That's the only one.
It's a good story.
It's great. I have the whole. I have all three, or I think there's like 4 or 5, but like I have the trilogy, and I'm like, I remember reading the first 2 and being like, okay, but where is Zuko's mom though? Yeah. And they're like, okay, here it is. I'm like, thank you.
Did we review the Injustice animated movie? I hear it's terrible, so I haven't gotten to it yet.
No, I've only.
I feel like it's going to be on the side while I'm playing a video game. Like it's going to be one of those reviews.
Oh yeah, it has to be because there's no way.
I did John Wick. We did a John Wick book, and that did really well.
Nice. Has there been another issue of Berserker?
They finished the first arc, I thought.
No, like the Keanu Reeves one.
Yeah, they finished the first arc, I thought.
Really?
Like a whole volume is done.
Oh my god, I haven't even seen a second issue.
Because people only cared about the first.
Yeah.
Once it came out, they're like, what's the next thing?
Did you see that article about that? Keanu Reeves is now one of the biggest comic book writers out there. Like he's Keanu fucking Reeves, man.
Yeah, no, he's not. He is not a comic book writer. He didn't write that book. He helped them come up with the story. And the story is, what if I was like a total awesome freaking badass and couldn't die? Like that's
Matrix. Got it.
You're a genius. Thank you, Keanu. It is awesome.
Yeah, that's what I'm hearing everyone saying about the Injustice movie, that they used year 1 all the way to 2. Like all the way to Injustice 2. So 7 years of content in one movie.
Wow.
And an hour and a half movie.
Right.
Not even.
Why? What I don't get is why they didn't do year 1 and leave it at where, okay, and this is where it ends, and we're good. And then you could easily just say all those years happen, and if it does well, you do year 2, year 3, year 4.
Yeah. That could be like a yearly moneymaker for DC animation, and they're just like, derp.
Yep. Something's killing the children. Oh, we covered that, and that did well. And we're probably going to do part 2 this Halloween.
We had a big debate at Comic Pop about that, where Tiffany was like, well, obviously we're not going to do like this and this, and for our Halloween episode. And I was like, oh, we should do something killing the children. She's like, you said no indie. And I'm like, well, but that's James Tynion IV. And she's like, damn it. So
I got 2 series that I did that I like. I did because I like doing them, but no one cared. And that is the Assassin's Creed comics, which were amazing.
Yes. They were really good.
And the Life is Strange comic series, which if you like Life is Strange, it's amazing. If you don't like Life is Strange, this is not going to convert you.
I'm gonna pop this one.
I have to tell you about that
super chat.
Oh, no.
We got a super chat. Benny, have you read the Batman and the Justice League manga? It's different and everyone is super anime attractive, but the action is really good.
I'll check it out. I've never read it. No. The last thing I'll do, and we'll start closing out of it here, but I lost my train of thought on that one. I was gonna say there's another one that we did.
Oh, another indie book? Or a book you did for pleasure?
Well, yeah, there's always I do some things for fun, like nail biters, because I think it'll be a fun one to do.
Yeah.
And a lot of times, if you see me do one for fun, it's because I think narrating is going to be fun.
Oh, sure.
Yeah. That's how you can tell, guys, that I'm still actually invested. Because I get these comments, you seem so burned out and you're not even invested at Comicstorian anymore. If I wasn't invested, you wouldn't get videos.
Right.
Like,
you just live off the backlog of like 10 years worth of videos. Are you kidding me? No.
I'd be like every other YouTuber that just goes, and I'm done. I'll make a video a year.
Right. Yeah. Later, I bought my house. I'm done.
Yeah. I don't understand that concept. Oh, you're not even into this anymore.
Yeah. I like that because like no, dude, you're not into this anymore. Like you're burned out.
Mm-hmm.
I don't understand. I hate looking at you and I don't want to learn more about these comic books. Well, you seem really burned out. No, dude. That's you, man.
I get those comments once in a while.
Yeah.
No. Or I like the ones that are like, man, this video got low views. Thanks, man. I needed that reminder.
Yeah, actually, YouTube tells you when your video did poorly, so I'm good.
I saw somebody tweet out. They put out something like, "I'm quitting" or "I'm burnt out," and then YouTube was like, "This is your #1 performing video." And
yeah, thanks.
Succession on HBO is really great. Have any of you watched it? No, I want to though. After some joke that they made on Family Guy, where they're like, I think it's just they picked it like Dan, like, and we got another super chat. How much will it cost to have us make a complete full story of the pre-New 52 Jaime Reyes Blue Beetle run? It costs nothing. He needs to be in something.
Yeah,
just wait till his movie gets a big announcement, and then keep an eye out.
That's exactly right.
But all right, guys, we're going to close out today. Thank you so much for joining us on this live show. We'll be back on Thursday if Dan and I can get the dual casting working. Otherwise, just check us out at twitch.tv/Comicstorian. And we will be back here next Tuesday until Sal gets tired of us.
Yeah, I guess so, right? That's the
plan. All right, guys. You have yourself a great day. Dan, can you do the send over?
I'm doing the raid right now. It is currently going. It looks like she's playing the new Guardians game.
That's right. She's playing Guardians.
All right. Have fun, guys. We'll catch you next time. The raid has been sent.